Hey there, friends. Mr. Baxter's Learning Channel is your place to be. Get it? Place to be. Bzz. It is. Welcome, guys. It is Thursday, April the 23rd, 2020. We are going to do a reading activity today. All right? We're going to continue looking at our nonfiction books. Remember those books that are teaching us something. So we will gather ourselves up in just a second. We will talk about where we're going. We'll talk about how we're going to get there. Okay? And then we will look again at our nonfiction book that we've been discussing, Spring. All right? But first, let's gather ourselves together. Ready? 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, go. We are gathering on our phones or our screens. Everyone is here now. This is our own space now. We are here. Here we are in the digital Baxter Beehive for some distance learning reading. All right, let's take a look at our learning target and our success criteria for today. Zoom it in a little bit. All right, so let's talk about where we are going. Well, where we're going tells us what we're learning today. So I can notice more in my books to understand my reading. Wow, that's a lot we're learning today. I can notice, which means we're going to pay close attention to our books. We're going to be noticing more to understand our reading. All right, so we're going to be asking ourselves those 3 important questions to check to see if we understand. And how we're going to get there, or the way that we show what we know today, is I can retell the information. So we're going to be retelling the information from the book that we read. Now, so we'll be going over the topic of the book, or what the book is about, and we'll be going over what we learned, because these are nonfiction books. Now, we've been talking about how even if we're reading fiction or nonfiction books, we use some of the same superpowers. If we're going to be noticing things in our books, we're going to be paying attention to the pictures, and we're going to be looking at the words, using that picture power and our sound power. But if we're going to be retelling the information, then we're going to be using a couple more of our superpowers today. So let's take a look at our avid readers' anchor charts. Get this in position. Get this angled down. All right, so first things first, let's talk about what do avid readers do? The first thing, when we're learning things, guys, avid readers think, wow. You know, we think, wow. When we're learning our new information from those facts, we're thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. Also, avid readers ask questions, right? If we're learning new information, we're definitely going to be thinking, huh? Why does that do that? Well, when? Where? Remember? And then we're also going to use our fancy topic words. All right, we know that as our vocabulary, and they stand out in our nonfiction books by being bold words, right? All right, so remember I said we're going to be asking ourselves 3 questions to make sure that we understand, because part of our learning target today was to understand more in our books, and we're going to retell the information. So as we're reading, we need to ask, does it look right? And for that, we'll check our picture. Does it sound right? For that, we'll use our sound power. And the most important is, does it make sense? In our nonfiction books, when they're trying to teach us something, we have to check and see, does it make sense? Are we learning? All right? And so remember, as avid readers, the one I really want you to do today is really pay attention. All right? I want you to really pay attention to your book. Okay? You see that? Really pay attention to the book. Remember, we're going to notice more so that we can understand. All right, so remember how we talked about using our superpowers. We've been using our picture power over here and our sound power together to check the picture to make sure it looks right, and to check the words to make sure that it sounds right. Well, today, remember, we're going to be retelling. And if we're going to be retelling, we need to go back and reread. Right? So we will be rereading using that reread power, and then we will be using a very important power for our nonfiction. We have book talk power, and in book talk, we go back and we talk about what the book was about, discussing the topic. We talk about things that we already knew about that topic, and we can discuss things that we learned, right? So book talk power is very important when you want to be an avid nonfiction reader. All right, remember, you're thinking, wow, you're asking questions, so that's some book talk, and we're using those fancy topic words. All right, so remember, after we read our book today, guys, we're going to fill out a sheet that looks like this, and we're going to talk about what the topic was about. We're going to talk about a fact that we already knew, and then we're going to talk about 2 things that we learned. And you guys are going to do this on your seesaw activity. So I'm going to lay this down and back out some so that we can read. Remember, we want to reread our book, Spring. All right, how's that look? Can you see? Yeah. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to reread our book, Spring. There we go. All right. So the book is Spring. I want to make sure you guys can see. Can you see the book, Spring? Yeah, you sure can. All right, so the book is Spring. Now we're going to go back. We've read this. We've seen the pictures, and we've seen our words. We're going to go through it and reread, all right? Spring. It is spring. It is getting warmer. The days are getting longer. Buds grow. Man, pay attention to those bold words. Birds come back. Rain falls. The sun comes out. Children plant seeds. Flowers bloom. Bees, hey, that's us. Bees buzz. Birds build nests and baby birds hatch. Cows are born. Sheep play. The wind blows. Summer is coming. And spring is one of our seasons. All right, so that we went through and we used our reread power to reread the book Spring. Now, let's retell it. What are some of the things that happened in spring? Well, I noticed that spring, the days were getting longer. It was getting warmer. Buds start to grow. Remember? You can go back and retell it like that. Buds start to grow. Birds come back. Rain falls. The sun comes out. Children, man, flowers blooming. Bees start buzzing. So let's go back. We are retelling the book. You see that? You retell the information that happened inside of your book. Some of the things were flowers bloom, bees buzz, and the wind starts to blow, right? But so our book was about what? What is our topic? Let's fill out our sheet together, okay? So I am going to angle it back down, and we can fill out our response sheet together, okay? All right, so the first thing it says, this book is about. Well, guys, what was our book about? Spring, right? So I'm going to write spring. The book was about spring. So now, the next question on your worksheet is going to ask, A fact that I already knew is, well, guys, I know from us discussing seasons in our book about seasons before that spring is a season. So I am going to write that in a fact that I already knew. All right. So a fact that I already knew is spring is a season. Now, the two parts down on the bottom of your paper is where you can fill out the new facts that you learned. So part of retelling the information from your book is telling about what you learned. Well, guys, one thing that I learned is that during spring, the days get longer. I did not know that. So I'm going to write the days get longer. And I also, another thing that I learned, guys, was that the wind blows more in spring. Do you remember reading that part? Thumbs up? Yeah, the wind blows. So I can write that part over here also. Snap word. T-H-E spells the or the wind. Ooh, and I hear a blend at the beginning of blows. Right. B-L-O-W. The wind blows. So, this is my response sheet to retell the information about spring. The topic of the book was spring. One fact that I already knew is that spring is a season. One fact that I learned is that the days get longer. And another fact that I learned was that the wind blows. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this informational rereading and retelling of the book Spring. Take a look right here and let's zoom in on our learning targets and make sure we accomplished our goal today, okay? So our goal was to, it says I can, let's see here if I can angle that better for you. There we go. I can notice more in my books to understand. Did we notice some more things as we read the book Spring? Thumbs up, yep. And we can retell the information. We talked about the topic. Ta-da, the book was about spring. And then we talked about what we learned. Bingo. Guys, I hope you enjoy this reading activity on seesaw.com. Happy Thursday, April the 23rd. Baxter, out.